Hi, my name is Peter Doan. Welcome to the scholarship preparation class. Now, I hope with this session that we go through some of the questions that will be typical in some of the scholarship tests that you're going to be faced in the near future. Now, have a look at some of the questions before you. Let's go through them together. Now, question 1. Okay, it says here, 2/3 of the 27 students in the class are athletes. 1/2 of these athletes play basketball. How many students in a class do not play basketball? Okay? Now, please underline the word do not play basketball. Okay? Automatically, a lot of times our brain will run through it very quickly and we automatically presume that the question is asking how many students play basketball. So please underline the word do not play basketball. So we've got 2/3 of the students are athletes, so 27 times 2/3, that's going to give you 18 students. Okay? 1/2 of these athletes play basketball. Okay, so 1/2 of them play basketball. So that's going to give us 9 students who actually play basketball. Okay, so these people play basketball. What the question is asking is how many students in a class do not play basketball? So it's going to be 27 minus 9. That's going to give us an answer of 18. In this case, the answer is going to be B. Okay. Now, please make sure that you record down B in your answer sheets. Now, if you have answered the questions systematically, that's going to be fairly straightforward. What I find in some cases, a lot of students would tend to jump from one question to another, right? But make sure you mark B to the corresponding question. Now, another thing to bear in mind is a lot of these scholarship tests, we have, let's say, 30 to 40 questions. In most cases, you're going to have around 30 to 40 minutes to do these questions as well. So give yourself an average of 1 minute to do or attempt each one of these questions. Now let's have a look at example 2 in front of you. Now let's read this together. Have a look at the diagram. Okay, it says, what is the starting number? So we've got a question mark on the starting number. This is the number we want to find. You multiply by 0.4. Then the answer you multiply by 0.4 again, divide by 0.2, then you square the answer or square the number, subtract by 16, that gives us a final answer of 240. Now, we've been given the whole process. Now, instead of being given the starting number, we've been given this is our answer. So we need to go backwards. We need to reverse the whole process to find the answer. So the last step was subtract by 16. So you need to add 16 to that. So the reverse of subtract by 16 is addition. Once you get the answer, in this case that's going to be 256. The step before that, square the number. So you need to do the opposite. Instead of squaring the number, you need to take the square root. So the square root of 256, that's going to give you 16. 16 times 16 is 256. Now then it was divide by 0.2. The opposite of dividing is multiplying. So you're multiplying that by 0.2. So that's going to give you 3.2. Multiply by 0.4. So you divide by 0.4. Instead of multiplying, we divide. 3.2 divided by 0.4 is the same as 32 divided by 4. That's going to give you 8. Now the first step, which is the last reversal step in this case, multiply by 0.4 again. We divide the answer by 0.4, so it's 8 divided by 0.4. That's going to give us, that's like 80 divided by 4. It's going to give us an answer of 20. In this case, the answer is D. Let's go through the next one, something slightly different again. Which of the following numbers is not the sum of 3 consecutive integers? Just bear with me. Now this is example 3. Now you may recall, now integers are pretty much whole numbers. They can be either negative or positive numbers. Now, let's presume that they are positive numbers in this case. Now the sum of three consecutive integers, that means these numbers are right next to one another, right? Now let's look at the answers. The answers, we've got 51, we've got 72, we've got 61, and we've got 81. Now, there are three consecutive integers. This is our clue. Okay, we got three numbers. Have a look at each one of these answers. Find one which isn't divisible by 3. Now 51, 5 plus 1 give you 6. You can divide that by 3. 61, that the sums of 6 and 1 is 7. You can't divide that by 3. 72, right? 7 plus 2 gives you 9. You can actually divide it by 3. 81, 8 plus 1 is 9. That's divisible by 3. So the only incorrect answer in this case is 61. Okay? This is the only one that does not give you the sum of three consecutive integers. We want to double check. Let's double check 72. 72 divided by 3 will give us 7 divided by 3 is 2. One remainder, so 12 divided by 3 is 24. Your middle number is going to be 24 because there's three numbers. So that's like 23 plus 24 plus 25. That should give you 72. Okay? But because you are restricted by time, the quickest way is whatever numbers can't be divided by 3, that's going to be your answer. Okay? In this case, that's going to be B. Okay? So remember, you've got roughly about 1 minute at each time. Okay? So don't waste all your time trying to list out all the three numbers for each one of these. That takes up too much time. Okay? Now, let's look at example 4. Okay, you're given a triangular prism. Now the question is, what is the volume of this figure? Question example 4. Now if you can remember, the volume of any particular prism will just be the cross-sectional area times the length or the depth of the actual prism. Now in this case, the cross-sectional area is a triangle. Now the area of the triangle is a half times the base times the height. Now we've been given these dimensions, so that's going to be a half times 7 times 4. This is the area of the triangle, multiplied by the length or the depth of the prism, in this case, which is 9. Now if you multiply that, the answer should be 126 cubic centimeter. Okay? So in this case, the answer is going to be D. Now, this is also typical questions that will appear in many of the scholarship tests. So just remember the basic formula. Volume is going to be cross-sectional area times the length. Now, let's look at example 5. Now, Chatterbox made the following figures with a piece of wood, 12 nails and an elastic band. What is the area of the figure in units? Let me resketch the diagram roughly. Now, we want to find that particular area. We can actually divide this into three components. Okay, one particular area is going to be that one. Let's call that area 1. That is a triangle, that is area 2. And lastly, we're going to have a triangle, that's going to be area 3. So my area is going to be area 1 plus area 2 plus area 3. Now area 1 is pretty straightforward. That's just 1 unit times 1 unit. So that's going to be 1 times 1, which is 1 unit square. Now area 2, that's going to be half of that area 1. So that just be a half. Now area 3 is slightly different. Now that is, you can think of it as half of a triangle. Now the half of a rectangle, sorry, my apology. That's going to be 2 units times 1. So that particular area is going to be 2 times 1, which is 2. Now that triangle is half of that. So it's going to be a half of 2. So that's going to be 1 unit square. So that's going to be 1 plus a half plus 1. So my total area for this particular shape would just be 2.5 units square. Okay, in this case, the answer is going to be C. Okay. Now let's go to the next one. Please refer to your sheet. Now, 1/2 of Mrs. Wellsworth's class are boys. 2/5 of the girls have blue eyes. Now, if there are 30 students in Mrs. Wellsworth's class, how many girls do not have blue eyes? Again, do not. Now, if you look at your example 6 that you got right in front of you. Now, 1/2 of Mrs. Wellsworth's class are boys. 2/5 of the girls have blue eyes. If there are 30 students in Mrs. Wellsworth's class, how many girls do not have blue eyes? Okay, so please underline, do not have blue eyes. Now, if there are 30 students in the class, and 1/2 are boys, so obviously the other half must be girls. So multiply by half, which are girls, so that's going to be 15 students. Now 2/5 of the girls have blue eyes. If 2/5 have blue eyes, what that means, but the question is asking how many girls do not have blue eyes, so do not. So therefore, it's 1 minus 2/5, which equals to 3/5. 1 is like 5/5 minus 2/5. So that's going to be 3/5 that do not have blue eyes. And we know that there are 15 girls in total in the class. So it's going to be 3/5 times 15 girls. 15 divided by 5 give us 3. 3 times 3, that would give us 9. So the answer is 9 girls who do not have blue eyes. So in this case, it's going to be C. Now I trust you find the last few examples quite useful. Now have a go at the rest of the questions. Try to work through it efficiently. And hopefully the hints you pick up in these examples will be pretty useful, pretty helpful as you prepare for your future tests. Good luck and bye for now.